Hello. Hi, Hannes.
Hi there. Hi, Catalina.
Nice to meet you today, and thank you for accepting to conduct this webinar with us today. We never met before, so that's why I will just make a quick introduction of our organization, Startup Moldova, and myself, and then I will pass the floor to you. Okay?
Let's do that. Sounds great. Thank you.
Nice. So I'm Catalina from Startup Moldova. We are a private organization that works with startup ecosystem here in Moldova. We know, well, we would love to know every and each startup from our country and work for the development of ecosystem with other community builders. Today, our partner at this event is also Tekwill Academy. They are a program for IT specialists training and career guidance. And I'm sure that some of them are working in this field of customer experience. And this webinar is going to be very useful for all of them. So today we are going to talk about customer experience. It's quite a new field, I would say. And well, as far as I know, this is the perception or feeling of a customer about the company's product or service. And it starts from the first purchase, even before that, and lasts till the next one, if there is a next one. So today we are here to hear from you. What is this term? What does it mean, the customer experience, and how it differs from the customer service, how it works, what's the importance? And also you've promised that you will share with us your experience in collecting data from around 5,000 startups. I was really impressed about that, and I would love to know how did you collect this data? So please, Hannes, introduce yourself shortly, and the floor is totally yours. Thank you.
Catalina, thank you so much. I'm not sure if I can add anything now that you already highlighted a few topics around customer service, and I love the countdown. Felt like we are now watching, like some premiere of a video, or like a movie or something. Anyway, so hi, I'm Hannes from Zendesk, based in Berlin, Germany. Catalina and I just, we had a interaction a few weeks ago, and we thought, maybe it would be helpful to offer, just present a topic around customer service best practices and strategies. I joined Zendesk 1 year ago. My job is to build partnerships, like what we are doing with Startup Moldova here in that case. And we're doing that with VCs, incubators, accelerators, and also like tech partners, in order to, in the end, promote a program, Zendesk For Startups, which is basically 6 months free of our product. And yeah, that's basically my day-to-day job. And as part of that, I'm always trying to provide value, both to the partners I'm working with, as well as their startup communities. And today, that's the part, to give something back, to present a workshop on a highly interesting topic. And that's what we are going into now, I think.
Nice. I would like to point that our startups from our community can benefit from a perk from you, because we are partners, as you said. Yeah. So maybe
I will highlight that at the end of the presentation. So then, like once we have the solid understanding of what customer service is about and why does it matter, I will then highlight the perk, and I will also make sure for everyone who's listening today to share the presentation afterwards, and also like send a follow-up email. So you have everything at hand. I would be very happy if you just like focus now on the presentation, roughly 40 to 45 minutes, and then we can do some 10 to 15 minutes Q&A, and afterwards you get the presentation. So full focus on that. No need to write in parallel.
Great. Thank you so much. So the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So now you will pull up my presentation. Oh, wow. That's an interesting tool. I learned a lot today. So next time, no Zoom or Hangouts, but rather StreamYard. That's great. Thank you. All right. Okay. Then let's go right into the details. Thank you so much, Catalina, for having me today. Just a brief intro. I mean, I already took a few notes away. I'm Hannes, based in Berlin, Germany. I joined Zendesk one year ago. Prior to that, I was working on the at various mobility startups. So basically did like 5 years in mobility, e-scooter, tele-operations, and also like mobility services, which was quite interesting. And I've worked there in different commercial roles, operations, public affairs, partnerships. And as part of being in the world of mobility, I really understood why customer service is so important from the very first day on, and especially every time when it comes to a question or challenge. And so, yeah, basically, I'm also trying to share these learnings as part of the presentation today. Just a quick agenda and overview for you guys. Super brief intro on Zendesk, so you understand what a customer service company looks like. I will also show like a super brief video, so you get a better understanding of what we're talking about today. Then we're going deeper into customer experience, which is like the translated here in the case with CX. Customer experience, customer service, basically the same term. Just going a little bit deeper, like what's happening in the customer service landscape and why do we think as Zendesk it is so important, especially in the, let's say, financial economy downturn where we are today. Then we go a little bit deeper. I will share a few what we call 6 CX targets and best practices, where we share data points of startups we have analyzed and where we try to highlight, like what's differentiating the top performing startups, unicorns, compared to the normal stagnant growing startups. And I just want to highlight those so you can maybe in a day-to-day job when thinking about customer service, you can take these learnings moving forward and build a great company. And then in the end, we will have also like a few unicorn metrics and a quick summary, and then we can just do, quite open Q&A. So thank you everyone for listening today. Let's go right into Zendesk. Just super briefly, is a B2B SaaS company, so software as a service. We are basically providing 2 products to our customers. On the one side, that's a customer service solution, and on the other side, it's a sales CRM solution. For the past 15 years, we've always done customer service, and I would say, like else I would not have joined the company. Zendesk, with regards to customer service, for me is really leading the benchmark. I think the top tier player in the industry when you think about that. But I just want to highlight, as of now, this is not a sales presentation today. There are various companies out there in the market offering same or similar solutions like we do. So please just take that as an inspiration today, and in the end, make your own choice which company you are going to prefer when it comes to customer service. Customer service now, just going a little bit deeper. I want to show you like a brief video, what it is about and what a customer service product, especially from our perspective, actually means. So let's go right into that, and I will show you like a brief video.
Zendesk makes customer service software, and it works right out of the box. It is also completely customizable and scalable and connects to the rest of your business. But no matter how you use it, Zendesk is designed to help you give your teams what they need so that your customers get what they want. Let's say your customers mostly send you emails, but some conversations are better over the phone, and maybe you'd like to start using a messaging app as well. In Zendesk, it's easy to add any new channels you need. And for the agent, this is all one conversation in one place. Collaborators are just a few clicks away. Same for knowledge articles, apps, even tools and information from other systems you already use. All valuable context about who you're trying to help and how to solve their issue. But perhaps your business is growing and your support operation is getting more complex. Zendesk lets you customize and optimize the whole picture, like by routing tickets to the right agents based on expertise, or automating which tools an agent sees based on the type of question. As your teams become more organized and productive, your customers get faster, more effective service. And with our built-in analytics that track just about everything, you'll also understand how to tie it all together. Like when you identify a question that's trending, so you assign an expert to create a new self-service article, which you feed to our AI-powered bots without writing any code, so that when the next customer reaches out, they get the answer they're looking for immediately. And hopefully, they feel very good about your company. Well done. Start your free trial today.
I think for me, if you just take, like one thing away from that video, it's basically explaining, so customer service solutions are about, like just making customer service interaction and handling as easy as possible from a customer agent point of view, basically. So if you think about offering customer service, if you think about offering a customer service solution, it's mainly the program is mainly, or the software is mainly aiming to optimize just the work routine and work scheme of your agents. So to make it very easy to have all customer data just like in one screen, to offer solutions to your agent when speaking with the customer, just like to make it just easy to provide a great customer experience. And if we think about B2B SaaS software customer service, this is what it looks like. So now let's go a little bit deeper. I think now we have like a solid understanding of B2B SaaS companies as well as customer service. And now I really want to double down on customer experience and customer service strategy and why it really matters today. Zendesk, as of today, we turned 15 years old. We have 6,000 employees all across the globe, and we have 160,000 customers. And as part of that journey over the past 15 years, we really understood how customer experience departments look like, what it means to provide a great customer service. And we basically try to implement all these learnings into the presentation you are going to see today. And if you just, like take one thing away after the presentation, it's like for me, it would be great if you just get a few, tactics, tools, strategies used by the fastest growing startups, and just a few, like best practices for yourself as a company on which you might use in the future as well. So let's get started. That's the setting in the agenda for today. That's the context. So let's get a little bit deeper into the numbers and figures. I'm sure you can imagine yourself, while having worked with thousands of startups over the past 15 years, we could see from our software perspective that more than 70% of the startups don't have a formal customer experience strategy in place. And that's due to the fact that traditionally and historically, it was always hard to invest into customer experience. It was always way easier to acknowledge to put money into sales, and that was just due to the fact that in the past, I would say maybe for the past 10 years, in the last 1 or 2 years, we see a change here. The situation was that customer service or customer experience was mainly viewed as a cost center and not really as a growth lever. And if we now try to build a bridge into the economy where we are today, and why we think, or what we have seen from the startups we are working with, why we see now a trend, I hope it's not going to affect you too much. And I think it's obvious for everyone. The need for customer service and the need for providing a great customer experience is more important than ever before, because we clearly can say in the world we are interacting today and you are operating today with your companies and with your startups, it's a buyer's world. And in order to underline that a little bit more, let's look a little bit deeper into that chart. So where are we coming from? If we look back maybe 20 to 30 years ago, let's take the years 1990 until 2000. The question back then was never, would people buy my product or would people buy my service? The question was always back then, are you able to build it? So if you were able to build a product or offer a service, you could be quite certain that customers would be interested in your product and would be willing to buy or consume it. If we then look a little bit deeper, or like a little bit beyond, let's take 2000 until 2010, we could see, especially with the boom of the internet, with the boom of like venture capital, and also like debt from banks being easier available than it was compared to the times before. So you could see thousands of companies popping out of, especially in the Western world, US, Europe, you could see, you know, like a lot of companies popping up because like the access to money was easier and easier. And with that, you could see, let's say, a higher increase also of advertising channels popping up. So it was not only about, you know, how could I sell my product offline, but mainly how could I sell it online? And then you could see channels like, back then Google, Facebook, and later then also like tools like Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, and so on. So you could see like different channels popping up at the same time around with the boom of the internet. And if we now go even one step a little bit back or a little bit earlier, 2010 to 2015 up to 2022, this situation, because like more and more money was coming into the market, further increased. And so it was, on the one side, you could see that more and more companies were popping up all across the globe due to the fact of you know, like the availability of money. And on the other side, with the availability of money, also naturally the market entry barriers for both products as well as software decreased on the one side. But if we compare now, maybe let's say, especially the last 5 years compared to maybe 10 or 15 years ago, when we had like a lot of different online channels popping out, we can now see, you know, like a more shrinking market, more like a fragmentation. And you as a company, if you want to sell your product, offer your service as of today, you find less and less channels online to actually reach the big audience. So as of today, you're technically forced to rely on Google, to rely on Facebook messaging, Facebook in general, Twitter back then. Let's see how it's changing now. But Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and so on. So basically, if we think about like really top of mind, we maybe see 6 or 8 big advertising channels, and you are as a company basically forced to advertise in these channels. And if we now try to build a bridge a little bit better towards, you know, like also my world where I was coming from, you know, that was the situation. So I don't know if you have been in Paris, London, maybe Berlin. We could also see it in Warsaw, for instance, 2 or 3 years ago. That was just one example, but that's exactly the theme we are in today. You know, like a lot of competition, basically offering a similar product. And then on the other side, and that's the other case here, thinking about micromobility, for instance, there are also like other solutions in order to solve your customer needs. So if you think about taking a scooter ride, you can also, for instance, walk. You can take the public transport. You can maybe take a bike or an e-bike. You can maybe take a car or a taxi. So on e-moped even today, depending on the city where you are. But we can see over time that there are more and more companies offering the somewhat same solutions like you are offering, both for product, both for software. And on the other side, you know, like just with these limited advertising channels, you can see that you face as a company an increased competition for the customer's attention. And if we now try to leverage that a little bit more with data, you can see here study from a company called Profitwell. Profitwell is a US-based company. They are based in Boston. They have like an incredible data source for billing and customer subscription data. So the data points you're seeing here are mainly related to SaaS clients. But thinking about SaaS and thinking about B2B as well as B2C, you can easily say that these charts or these figures are as well as adaptive for hardware products. So what we can see here, thinking about, you know, like, or looking into the years 2015 up until today, you can see that the customer acquisition cost has just increased significantly. So basically by roughly 70%. And on the same side, you can see in the market that we have actually a way lower product value, so roughly 60 to 80%. So your consumers, or let's say your customers' willingness to pay for, let's think about, you know, like that one additional feature you are offering as a software company, or that one additional service you are offering as a service company, or that one additional physical shift of your product company. Let's think about, you know, like transition just recently, iPhone 13 from to iPhone 14. consumers are actually less and less willing to pay for that, like that 5% increased hardware specs that are better compared to the previous version. So you find yourself in a situation where the customer acquisition costs on the one side are increasing like massively, and the consumer willingness, due to the fact that they have so much, normally depends on the geography you're operating in, but they have so much options to choose from, so their willingness to pay for your service or for your product is actually decreasing. So if we just bring that together, customers are very hard to please in today's world. And if we go even a little bit more beyond, like what other metrics we can see, it's worth having a look at the Net Promoter Score. So the NPS, Net Promoter Score, basically indicates how likely it is that your customers are recommending your service. Can be software, can be product, can be B2C, can be B2B, to their friends or family. And what you can see here over time, and that's actually falling just perfectly in line with the increased customer acquisition costs and the reduced willingness to pay for your additional products. You can see here in that chart that since 2015 up until today, the NPS roughly decreased by 75%. So the likelihood that your customer is going to do marketing or, like just advocacy on your behalf with their friends and family is actually also decreasing over time. And then just to add the last point of the macro environment here, this chart is already outdated, but I guess like it's half a year old. It's the same situation, but I would need to choose like new headlines for that. You can see that we face, like, especially in the tech world today, we face like a massive economic downturn due to the war, due to the supply chain constraints, due to the limitations what we faced all across the globe with COVID. So the market situation for you as a company to get access to capital is way reduced compared to it was maybe for the last 12, 24, 36 months. So all bringing that together, like looking at the customer side or the customer landscape and the customer willingness to pay for your service, and then on the other side, like the macro environment with access to capital in the markets. It's actually not ideal, and I hope that was not too negative, because like we are today speaking about how we can grow from here. But that's basically the landscape we are in today. So if we just bring that together, the challenge, most of the companies, most of the startups that are operating in the markets today, is that they, like they need to figure out, or they need to find a way to meet the increased expectations and needs of your customers in an economic downturn, and while scaling efficiently. So that's the challenge we are going to address today. If we take one step back and now coming a little bit closer to the role of customer service, customer experience, and with that linked especially to retention. If we think about, like what's the scheme for operating and running a company, there are two parts. On the one side, it's about acquisition, and on the other side, it's about retention. Acquisition means your team, you as a founder, your team is doing great sales, is bringing in a lot of customers that are interested to buy your products or your software or your service. And retention means that these customers are so happy with your product, with your branding, with their customer experience they have with you. So they are going to retain with your service and with your company. And if we now look a little bit deeper, especially also like compared to the maybe where we are coming from, let's think about the last 2 years was very easy. Last 2 to 3 years was very easy to attract financing. I mean, again, depends on the geography, but normally there was a high willingness from venture capital companies giving out money, as well as accelerators, as well as incubators. Like the money was also like a little bit more available from friends and family than it is today. So if we think about that time, it was very easy to just throw money at sales in order to increase your customer growth. And now we need to, especially now being in a situation where money is not as easy available as it was before, we need to think about, like, what does this mean for sales and what does this mean for retention? And that chart actually shows you the years 2008 until 2012 compared to the years 2013 until 2016. And it's about, like the impact of acquisition and the impact of retention on your overall revenue. And what the chart is showing in detail is if you as a company increase your spending on acquisition by 1%, you can see that in the years 2008 until 2012, the impact on your revenue was roughly 3.3%, and it shrinked over time. When we look into 2013 until 2016, it was only 2.3%. If we look into the data for the same topic aiming at retention, so increasing the efficiency or your spendings by 1% on retention, customer service, you can see that the impact on your revenue was 6.7% in the years 2008 until 2012. And it actually increased over time if we look into 2013 until 2016, where it was 9.3%. If we here compare the impact, like you as a company doubling down on retention versus you as a company doubling down on acquisition, we can see that retention is outperforming acquisition by 4x. And that's the impact you will have on revenue doubling down on retention. Unfortunately, we don't have the data points. Would be interesting to see 2017 up until 2022. Profitwell did not release this comparison yet. As soon as we have it, we will look into that. But we expect, especially in the world where we are today, that the impact will even bigger, because right now it's super hard to get money for sales, while you need to focus on just having a super high retention and a super low churn. So that's basically the comparison. If we think about, like, will customer service or will, doubling down on customer support, will it have an impact on your revenue? This is what we are going to underline here with that study. So conclusion, as part of the data point, CX has a significant impact on your revenue. And if we just, like, make it a little bit more practical, let's think about, I don't know if it's how it's from your perspective. Again, depends on the geography. But for me, if we think, if I just think top of mind, what is a great customer experience? Amazon, from my perspective, although I'm a German guy, and I try to shop offline as much as possible, I try to take care of the money I'm spending. Amazon for me is always like top of mind when it comes to customer service. If you find a product online on the Amazon marketplace, you can immediately see the price, you can immediately see the ETA when it would arrive at your place, and normally that it will come 1 or 2 days earlier. And you also know that whenever there's a problem with the shipment, or you have like questions about the product, or the parcel, the packaging, like the parcel gets lost, or like it is damaged, you can call the company, you can call Amazon, you can write them by email, and they will solve the problem you have within minutes, or like within 1 hour. So they make it very easy for you as a customer to address your need and to get help. And for me, if we think about, like, what is retention? What is a great customer experience brand about? For me, Amazon is always top of mind, although it's never the cheapest, but always, in my perspective, the most reliable brand that is out there, especially when we think about e-commerce. So now going a little bit another step deeper, and now looking more at the data, that is hopefully also like giving you a better understanding of which tactics and tools you can use when you think about, like building a customer obsessed company, building a great customer service. We need to clarify, doubling down on customer service, despite the data I've shown earlier, does it really lead to growth? And I can already take the answer away. It's a yes, but we want to back that up with further data. So what Catalina also highlighted earlier on, We analyzed a lot of customer data. We're working, as I said earlier, with 160,000 customers. These have just been like a few startups we have worked with today, more like big enterprises, but a few startups we have worked with over the past 15 years. And we analyzed roughly 4,600 startups since January 2014 up until early 2020. You can find the data points online. I will also share, when I share the presentation afterwards, you will have all the data at your hand. And we were trying to understand, thinking about growth and thinking about, like, if you double down on customer service and experience, like, what's the implication for your business? We try to compare two groups, and this is what I spoke about earlier on. The high growing companies or the high growing startups compared to the stagnant growing startups. And we looked at factors like internal metrics, so what we can always see on the side of Zendesk. Number of agents, number of tickets that are allocated to a customer service instance, number of products they have connected to their account, number of partner accounts they have connected to their service. And then in addition, we also backed it up with data points like fundraising rounds, fundraising amount, also like the reputation of the investor. And through that, we were able to really differentiate, like the group of high growing startups compared to the stagnant ones. And the next few slides will be about these data points, and will link best practices to that. So you hopefully have a takeaway from today. So let's go right into that. 6 targets to aim for. As I said, you can find the report online anytime. I will share it afterwards. Let's go right into that. Target number 1 is, a very like logical and simple one. We call it getting out of your inbox, especially as a founder, and implement a proper customer support tool. We think at the time frame from 9 to 12 months after you have secured your first funding. That can mean you are bootstrapping your company, so you have you are able to earn your own money on your own behalf, or you received some money from a VC, or you received some money from a bank, or an accelerator or incubator. That's the timeline. And what we could see here while thinking about customer service, and especially a customer service solution, if we compare the high growing startups compared to the stagnant growing startups, we can see that high growing startups were 33% more likely to add support, like to add a support function or support tool in the first year of having raised their first funds. And that made them in the end way more successful than the stagnant ones, because they made it easy as early as possible for their customers to have a dedicated point of contact, to have a dedicated agent, and to get a very fast handling and customer solution oriented approach when it came to a challenge or a question. And if you ask yourself, we call that the name test. If you ask yourself, like Hannes, what's the right timing to think about, to implement a customer service solution, we normally take that name test, and that's just a small one. So here you can see conversation between, like founder A and founder B, and founder A is asking founder B, hey, can you still name all of our customers? And then founder B is like, yeah, of course, I remember Kelly, I remember James, I remember Mia and Damon. And then founder B is starting to struggle and realize, hey, what's your point? And then founder A says like, we need a support tool. So if you find yourself in a situation where you don't have all of your customers anymore top of mind, or it's not easy for you to think about all of their names, we normally say after customer number 10 for B2C companies. For B2B companies, that can mean earlier or even later. That depends how long you as a founder want to have close relationships with your customers. But the rule of thumb here is after customer number 10, it's really important and useful to get customer service out of your email inbox and to implement a proper tool. So that's the target number 1 to aim for. Let's move ahead with target number 2. We call it the omni-channel experience. So make it easy for your customers to reach you on the channel they prefer and how they like it. So if we look a little bit deeper here into the data again, we can see that high-growing startups were again 33% more likely to add omni-channel in year number 2. So once we have a customer service experience, once you have a customer service solution implemented, omni-channel, then aiming for omni-channel by year number 2. And what that actually means in detail, you remember, customers are hard to please, and you want to make it as easy as possible for your customers to reach you. Omni-channel is basically that. Yeah. So offering your customers not only to send you an email compared with a ticket solution, but mostly to allow your customers to reach you on the channel they prefer. And that can be Instagram, that can be Facebook, that can be WhatsApp, that can be, like TikTok, Google, like whatever implementation and whatever solution you prefer. It's not about, like where do you think your customers want to reach you, but moreover, like allow your customers to choose it by themselves. And if we now look a little bit deeper, we hear a lot from founders, like, hey, Hannes, if I add more channels, it will increase the complexity of my customer service organization to get solved of tickets. We can say that that's actually not true. We see, and now going a little bit, taking a deeper look here on Instagram, we can see that 90% of the questions customers have are repetitive. So what we can see in the screen, help me with my order. Can I chat with the person? Can I track my order? That's when we speak about omnichannel, and that's when we speak about 90% of repetitive questions. So it's not happening often that customer have that like super complicated use challenge where you need to help them, but it's more like they're either too lazy to find the information online, or you did not make it clear enough for them to have them informed. So. And if we think about, like these 90% repetitive questions, you can, and this is if we remember the video from what I showed earlier a few minutes ago, there are almost all customer service companies that are active on the market make it super easy for you to just, like implement an AI-powered bot and to make it super easy to answer these 90% repetitive questions. And for that, like Instagram, that example, you don't need to allocate an agent. You just implement the pre-selected, like answers to certain topics, and then like the bot will just take care of that and will make it very easy to solve the customer service interaction. And if we talk about omnichannel, that's exactly what I'm speaking about, like offering different channels and make it very easy for your customer to reach you and to get fast answers on the problems they have. And that's another example, WhatsApp here. Omnichannel does not mean that. So it's not about offering an additional channel, WhatsApp, and then asking the customer to contact you through another channel. So basically linking from channel A to channel B, in that case, email. That's not about omnichannel experience. Omnichannel experience means solving the customer service interaction and issue in the respective channel. So bringing that once more to attention, high-growing startups, 33% more likely to add omnichannel by year number 2, which made them in the end more successful since they provided like a better customer experience, and they made it very easy for their customers to meet you as a company where they wanted to be and not what you thought as a company would be the preferred channel. Target number 3 aims at building a plan for live channels. And when we think about live channel, we think about chat. Like if you go on a website and if you just spend a little bit of time, then normally in the bottom left or right, you can find, like, hey, do you want to chat to an agent? Or live solutions also means phone. And what we can see here that again, high-growing companies were 20% more likely to add live solutions, live chat, live phone solutions by year number 2. And the second part, which is related, so it's not only about offering a live chat or live phone solution for your customers, but it's even more important if we speak about target number 3, about the staffing. So what we can see here for the high-growing startups, they on average assigned 16% more agents, no matter in which months they were active. So that basically means they had a higher headcount to allow a fast resolution time when it came to a live chat or when it came to a live phone interaction. And that's the very, very important part. So if we think about, or as a company, if you think about, like one day, hey, we are operating actively. Hey, we have our first 5-10 customers. We have a customer service solution in place. And now we want to offer a live solution to interact with our customers very fast. You need to have the staffing top of mind, and you need to make sure that the resolution times need to be very fast. Else you should not offer it at all. If customers need to wait, like 10 minutes or 15 minutes on a chat or on the phone, they will rate you very bad when it comes to like how fast is the company helping me when I have a question about a product. And then they're also like very, very likely to just go to your competition because they expect that the competitors are maybe doing it faster. So that's target number 3. And now going deeper into target number 4, which we, as of today, see, especially in today's world, as the most impactful target. Get a help center up and get a FAQ center implemented. That's super easy, that's super fast, and super effective. If we look a little bit deeper here into the comparison, high-growing startups compared to stagnant growing startups, we could see that high-growing startups had, on average, 27% more self-service content available on their FAQ web center, web center live page in the first 24 months. And basically, FAQ means, if we let's repeat what I said earlier. When it comes to 90% repetitive questions your customers have, especially in e-commerce, in fintech, in food, in crypto, in Web3. These are like where you have also like high volume activities, mostly B2C use cases. Having a FAQ center live and making it easy for your customers to just find the answers they're looking for on the website, on the FAQ site, makes it very, very easy to provide a great customer experience, since your customers are never forced to even get in touch with your agent. And the better your self-service content is on the website, the less likely it is that customers are going to call you, to use your agents, to bother your agents or you as a company with questions. And we have a lot of companies asking us, yeah, Hannes, like it's great customer service, like self-service content, having that available. I get that. That's important, but it's always a challenge to set that up. We always claim the 600-second rule. You don't need to hire 1 or 2 agents or 3 people, just sitting there writing 24/7 FAQ content. You rather ask your agents at the end of the day, 600 seconds, 10 minutes to invest, like the 10 minutes to just write one article on that one pattern they noticed today, they realized today. And if you have that running for 2 or 3 months, you will realize yourself that the content you need on, like for the 90% repetitive questions, the content will be available, and you never had to hire additional people for that. And then the second part, that's just one example out of Zendesk. There might be other companies doing the same. What you can see here is a customer interaction, Pamela and the agent. And what you can see here is that they're trying to, Pamela is trying to solve that customer interaction. And then if you look at the right side, once Pamela solved that ticket and helped the customer, you can just take that conversation, just click one button here that's in Zendesk, and then it's called create knowledge. And if you press that button, the whole customer interaction will be uploaded onto your FAQ web page. And then in the future, whenever customers are having like a challenge or are searching for a solution, which is comparable to the one what Pamela had here, it will be immediately available. And that takes like 2 seconds, right? So making content available and making self-service articles available is just, like the target number 4 from our perspective, one of the most impactful ones when we think about providing a great customer service. Target number 5 is not backed up by startup data, but more, like by insights on the most important tools. Here we speak target number 5 about apps and integrations to increase the productivity and streamlining workflows of your agents. So if we look into that, we can see that, we just picked out a few integrations here, knowledge capture. I just showed you that, Jira, Slack. There are also like Stripe, PayPal, whatever data points you're using. It's about, like having a customer service solution that makes it very easy for you to integrate corporate product services into your customer service instance. So you make it very easy for your agents just to have like all customer data in one screen view, and you make it also like super easy for your agents to just guide your customers from A to Z. Even if they want to, let's assume they want to buy additional products, or after like a customer interaction, they have like additional questions. So you make it very easy to also hand them over and guide them through the company based on the integrations you have with your customer software service solution. Target number 6, and that's always, we hear, we hear when speaking to startups, to founders, we hear it's always top of mind, but it's always worth to call that out once more. Target number 6 is about being relentless and driving down first reply times and resolution times. That is mostly related to what I said earlier. Think about, like the live chat, live phone solutions. If you want to be a great company, and we spoke about it when thinking about the Amazon example, you want to be very fast when it comes to customer questions, customer challenges. And through that, you will be perceived from your customer perspective, from the customer's perspective, as very responsive, trustworthy, fast, helpful company. And that should always be top of mind. So having the right staffing in place, being careful about, like the resolution times, the reply times, that is what makes a consumer obsessed company. And this is what drives the net promoter score of your customers with your company, because they think you're really trustworthy, and they will be staying a loyal customer. So if we now bring all these 6 targets together, again, just a quick repeat on that. Target number 1, get out of your inbox as a founder. Although it's super tough and super challenging, and you want to be in touch with your customers, get out of your inbox, implement a customer service solution. Target number 2 is about, like the omni-channel experience, what we said earlier. Make it easy for your customers to reach you on the channels they prefer at the time they prefer. So offering various channels when it comes to customer questions and services. Target number 3 was about, like building a proper plan when going live, both chat, both phone, and about the staffing, which is even more important. So if you offer these solutions, make sure you have the right number of agents allocated for that. Target number 4 was about, from our perspective, the most impactful CX target every startup should aim for today, is to implement FAQ center with self-service content, which makes it just super easy for your customers to find the answers to the questions they have themselves. Target number 5 was about, like finding a customer service tool which allows you to integrate like a huge tech stack, huge like different product services and data points, to make it for your agent as easy as possible to have all customer data just on one screen. And target number 6 was about, strive for speed, reduce resolution times and handling times in order to provide a great customer experience. And now, speaking about speed, we now talked about high growing startups compared to the stagnant one. Let's take the last look on the top 1%, on the unicorns. I don't know if you still remember that. For me back then, it was quite remarkable. Usain Bolt on the right makes it super easy to lead the game, makes it super easy to be on position number one. At least this is what it looks like. So if we think about speed, if we think about unicorns, a lot of founders ask us, like, what are unicorns differently? We can be very clear on that. They're not doing things differently. They are just faster with their execution. So unicorns compared to the high-growing startups implement omnichannel 14% faster to make it very easy for their customers to reach them. And that's target number 4, what I called out earlier. They make self-service content available from the very first day in order to allow their customers to find the answers to the questions they have themselves. Get up FAQ, put up the help center. They even offer live chat and live chat solutions 32% faster and added even more agents in order to be perceived as a very trustworthy company, as a fast reactive company. And the last point, which I found also like very remarkable, just to call out, unicorns compared to the high growing companies are even on top of that 33% more likely to add phone to their support. Because they know how important it is, especially for elderly people, to have a face behind, like, for instance, like a bot or a website. So to provide a great customer experience, they make the human interaction just top of mind. And this is what made them even more successful compared to the high growing startups. And just lastly, if we now think about, like, hey, Hannes, I'm thinking about customer service, but, like, that will it really pay off? How can I argue that also, like, internally and maybe also like with my investors? That's just one very simple chart, just underlining what is the impact when you reduce your churn on your revenue. You can see here, like, you reduce your churn from 15 to 10%, you will have a 40% increased revenue. You reduce it once more from 10% to 5%, you have a 50% higher revenue. So especially in the world where we are today, where money is not easily available, you need to take care to provide a great customer experience, to have a good retention, and to have very reduced churn. And the last chart, McKinsey and Adobe just calling out here, doubling down on customer service and experience can lead to a 10 to 15 reduction in churn, can lead to a 20 to 40% increase in win rates for offers, especially for B2B companies. Interesting, 50% lower costs to service, and then also like customer service obsessed companies were 3 times more likely to achieve their business goals. These are just, I also linked the studies here. You can click on that afterwards. These are just, like a few more data points to back up the findings we had today. And now the last point for today, if you think about Zendesk, or if you think about customer service, Zendesk gives you that one solution here at hand. Thanks to the partnership we are having with Startup Moldova, you get 6 months free of customer service and also like the sales CRM solutions. You get access to our online office hours, where our consultants are giving you basically free product consulting on how to get your customer service instance running. And you also get access to events, resources, and educational content, all part of our Zendesk for Startups program. So please feel free to take a screenshot here, to take a phone picture, and I will also make sure to share that afterwards. And now that's it from me from today. Thanks for listening. Sorry for going a little bit beyond time, but I wanted to make sure we really get into the details here. Please feel free to ask your questions now.
Thank you, Hannes. Thank you so much. It was so interesting, especially the statistical data that you provided. Well, the facts about the 90% of questions that are always repetitive, it's like mind-blowing. And I have a question about that. Our the people that are listening to us will ask their question in the comments box, and I encourage them to do that. I will ask you, well, about this fact with 90% of questions. Well, the way to address this challenge, as you said, is to build an omni-channel. And okay, it's tool for customer.
One approach, right? One approach to
Yeah.
it, yeah. On
Yes.
the other side, it's for instance like the self-service content on the website, right? Where you just try to anticipate, or you learn after you have, yeah, that's great. Like you learn after you have your first interactions with your customer, no matter if it's B2C, no matter if it's B2B, you learn. And based on that, you are able in the first week of being live, of getting your product and service out, you learn and you are able to just put the answers you're getting repetitively on your website or through tools, what I showed earlier, where you can create just the knowledge or with the 10-minute rule, just to make these answers just easily available on the website in order to, like not having the need for your customer to even reach out to you at all.
Yeah, and that's much easier for marketing person and for the founders.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
I was wondering how it affects the personalization of a customer experience, because nowadays a lot of people are more likely to buy a personal experience. I mean, in terms of discussions, the same thing that you said with unicorns that used to add like these call centers in their customer experience management. So they
like
have
the
this space.
solution,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, you're right. I would say it depends, like Catalina, it fully depends on the customer group, on the age of the customer group. Let's maybe look into the, let's look into the age of what we see today, 16, 18 to 30. They, they are like digital natives, most of them. They don't care too much about, they want to get fast answers. I want to buy a product, so give me all the facts I need. I want to order. Or, or I want to use a service. Give me one overview. I will check if it's attractive for me. If yes, I'm going to visit your place and I'm going to book the service. While, and then just going a little bit beyond, maybe 35, 40, up until 60. Don't forget your customers that are up until 80, or even beyond. Maybe they are not, they did not grow up with a smartphone in their hand and a laptop on their knees, but maybe a little bit more, like they did business back then in person. They went to the offline shops. So for them, it was way more easier to have the face-to-face relationships. What we see now in the economy, and that is what you all like addressed, we see a shift towards more and more automation, like trying also to make bots more and more be perceived as a human interaction, or at least, like make it not so easy for your customer anymore to even understand if they are talking now to a bot or if they are talking to a real life agent. There are different tricks and tools you can use for that. But you should never forget, like the rest, we still have these customer groups that are 60, 70, 80, and we will have them for the next 30 years. So it's about, like finding the right balance in between. We never saw a company that is fully relying on online content, unless the product is super easy, you can just buy one bottle of a drink or whatever. But if you go down, if you grow as an organization, you need to balance it out, and you need to factor in all based on your personas you have as a company. You need to factor in both approaches when it comes to the customer interaction.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Well, I have another question. If I may ask.
Go for it. I've also seen just one call out. I've also seen that in the past, people are always a little bit shy with asking questions. Feel free to reach out to me by email. Feel free to reach out after, we send the follow-up, or on LinkedIn or whatever. I'm always happy to also schedule one-on-one to get a little bit deeper into the content. Just, wanted to take care of the audience that is not so vocal as you are. So now going back to you.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask about the ways in which ways we could measure the experience we deliver to our customer, accepting the feedback questions and the sales. Well, what other tools
Yeah.
there are to measure their satisfaction with our product or service?
It depends. It depends on your stage where you are. Let's assume you have your first 5 to 10 customers. It will be you as a founder normally, because you are interacting with your first customers, or like your co-founders doing that. So normally the first customers we see are just top of mind for the founders, and through the manual interactions they have, they also collect the feedback. If you grow a little bit beyond, if you implement the customer service solution, if you implement if you have your head of customer service and a few agents, you will have two data points. You will have the data point where you have CSAT tools, customer satisfaction tools online, also NPS tools online, which are like basically, for instance, Zendesk is just offering that as part of the service. So after a customer interaction, you experience that yourself. I think so. Once you had a customer service interaction, you get 1 or 2 days later, hey, by the way, how did you experience the service with Catalina? Like, how would you rate it? Something like that. And the other part is where for instance, where we have the live chat interaction, where your customer service agent is then interacting with the customer and is then able during the conversation to just it's basically highlighting in the customer service solution on the right side, basically both answers on the questions, but then also like feedback they get from the customer. So if for instance, if it's coming through email or if it's coming through phone, they can just translate the voice over into what is the customer saying, and then you can just tag the feedback pieces to the customer account, and through that you basically have on the one side the CSAT NPS studies, then you have your inputs from your agents manually tracked in the data, and then you can just let it flow together, and based on that make your decisions. If it's B2C customers, if it's B2B customer, do I need to shift that? Do I need to shift my approach? Do I need to shift my solution offering? Do I need to make more content available? Because like we get that one question again and again, and it seems to be a problem. Or you shift that forward, and this is what I showed with the tool integration. You shift that forward to another department, asking operations to fix it, asking finance to fix it. Like this is when we think about customer experience, making it measurable. This is what it is about from my perspective.
Okay, thank you. You just said what I was looking forward to hearing about the fact that Zendesk is helping startups with tools for measurement of for measuring the customers' experience and satisfaction.
Yeah, you have that easily available. Yeah,
we will
crucial.
share all this. Yeah, we will share all this information with our community afterwards, and also the link to our website where the offer from Zendesk is published.
Perfect.
Yeah, so
I will send you a summary, Catalina. I think only tomorrow. We'll leave for the next call now. But it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, as I see, we do not have questions from our audience. So have a nice evening, and see you again.
Thank you, Catalina. And I will follow up tomorrow as soon as possible. Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.